Got here just in time for the prayer, Vonnie. Good. Our dear kind Heavenly Father, as we gather today as commission here in Box Elder County, we appreciate the moisture that we've received and for the things that are happening at this time. Heavenly Father, our hearts go out to those people that have lost loved ones and are going through so much hardship, especially at this time of year, that they might have an extra spirit go out to them, that they might be able to feel thy love, and that we might be sent as emissaries, that we will go forward and do good things. Please bless those people that are less fortunate and help us to make proper and correct choices in all that we do. Please bless our armed force services that are not in this country and looking at freedoms in others. And please bless our police forces and stuff in this area, that they will be blessed also, that we will all be able to come home. Again, help us to make it home in safety tonight and find all well there. And we ask these favors and blessings in the name of my Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Hey, and Tom is the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Have you guys got anything to come off the, are we good on the, you guys got anything?
I don't.
Good.
Since we've got 2 weeks worth of, 2 commissions worth of thing today, so I don't think I see anything else. Have you guys got anything else to come before the?
Nope.
I don't.
I'd just like to thank everybody for their prayers and concerns when I went and got my throat cut 2 weeks ago. That's why I wasn't here at the last meeting, and seem to be doing a lot better. And then I appreciate these guys' support and all the elected officials' support. Down at UAC, I got voted in, or whatever you want to call it, to be the second vice president of United Association of Counties, Utah Association of Counties. So it's a 3-year gig, and I appreciate these guys telling me that they'll have my support to be able to go and do the things that we need to do throughout the state and the nation. So I appreciate you guys. Okay.
Do the minutes.
Yeah, we need, it actually
2
doesn't
cents.
say that on mine.
Yeah.
Oh, there you
Got
go.
the minutes.
Yeah, I'd make a motion that we approve the minutes from our October 17th meeting as well as our November 7th meeting.
Second.
I got a motion by Commissioner Scott and a second by Commissioner Hatfield. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 5:04, we're at mail-in ballots, huh?
Yep.
Okay, is Patty Anderson? I don't see her. Okay, well, she comes in, we'll head to it. Jeff Hardy. Come up and state your name and where you're from, please. We all know you, but
Yeah,
everybody on the TV won't.
that's not good, is it? Jeff Hardy, in the Box Elder County, Brigham City address. What I'd like to do is I know you guys are tired of addressing the fire ordinance, the sprinkler fire ordinance. As I read through that, I got to the part where it says Box Elder County Commission has further determined that the recommended amendment set forth below will be in the best interest and promote the health and safety of the general welfare of residents of Box Elder County. As I talked to Corey the other day about how many people this is actually affecting, it's a really small amount. It's the young couples that are trying to build homes. He says, oh, we worry about lawsuits. Have we had a lawsuit? Has the county been sued for not putting out a fire on a home, on a structure?
Earl?
I know that 2 years ago when my uncles burned their haystack down, they hooked up the Bear River City's fire hydrant and didn't have enough water in it to use, so they hooked it up. They had to stick it in the canal. I was talking to a Bear River resident that used to be on the Bear River City's water system. They don't call them fire hydrants in Bear River City. They call them cleanouts because they don't have enough water pressure to hook a fire engine to. So My question is, do we regulate the health and wellness of the county? I mean, if I decide to build in the county and I know that there's not a fire hydrant in there, do I need the county to tell me that I have to build near a hydrant? As the county progresses, as we have homes built, right now we have 3 more subdivisions where my son's build, and we have 3 more lots. Guy right up the road from us, Dennis Nelson's in the process of looking into, matter of fact, he's staked and surveyed to put a subdivision in, which means before that can be done, West Crin will have to put a line in, an 8-inch line, or else whoever does the subdivision. So as soon as there's an 8-inch line in there, there will be fire hydrants available. Just doesn't seem to be that this has been, what should I say, implemented fairly across the county. I know that there's at least one home out by David Johns that was built. Time he got it built, there wasn't a fire hydrant. He didn't have a fire suppressant system in it, but he's living in it now.
And I'm not sure we want to bring up other people's names.
I'm
and
not
things.
bringing the names up.
Okay.
No, I'm not. Yeah,
'Cause-
I'm definitely not going to bring a name up.
Yeah, I was just going to say, because, I mean, we can look into that kind of stuff, but some of the things that we're talking
Right,
about.
no, that's why I don't bring a name up. I wasn't going to bring a name up.
Okay.
I'm just saying that this ordinance was in force, how long has it been in? 10, 15 years?
Yeah,
This has affected about 10%. No.
4 years?
It's been there. It was there when the old county commissioner was there. You just haven't, it was never implemented or forced. So I know it was there when my daughter built, when a few others up the road have built. So I'm just asking that you look at it, and whether it's really for the health and general safety welfare of the residents of Box Elder County, because I think it's only affecting maybe 10, 15% for sure. And I think there's better use of the county's money than helping fire suppressant systems in. So
okay.
that's all I got. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Jeff.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Jeff.
All right, Vonine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Every year I get to come before you because we have,
Not every year. This might be your last. Right?
yep, you're probably right. But I've had the opportunity and the privilege to come before you and request that you appoint and fill vacancies that come at the end of December every year. We have 3 trustees whose term is expiring. Jay Carter, he represents Box Elder County. Neil Kapner, he represents Portage, Plymouth, Fielding, and Riverside. And Jeff Scott, who is representing the county commission. Those people's terms are expiring at the end of the year. We submitted a letter in September noticing the county commission of these expiring services. And so we send out public notice asking people who are interested to send us letters of consideration so that we can send them to you. We have not received any other letters or any requests for consideration to be appointed to our board. And so notices were posted in 4 different places and put in the Box Elder Journal and also the Tremont and Leader for 2 weeks in a row. So the public notice requirement has been met, and advertisement was put in the paper so that people would know that the appointment would be made tonight at this public meeting. And so I guess respectfully, I request that you reappoint the Jay Carter and Neil Kapner and Jeff D. Scott to fulfill a new term for 4 years on the Bear River Water Conservancy District Board.
That's awesome. We haven't heard anything from anybody saying contrary, so.
And I assume
Quiet.
all of them want to stay on the board then.
I have talked to them, and they are more than willing to serve another term.
I actually tried to trade him, but he wouldn't trade me, so.
It's a great board to be serving on.
Good folks.
Yeah.
Well, I'd make a motion that we approve Jay Carter, Neil Kapner, and Jeff Scott to the Water Conservancy Board.
I'll second that.
I got a motion by Commissioner Hatfield and a second by Commissioner Scott. All in favor? Aye.
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 And it's our pleasure to have worked with you for the past, well, me 6 years and these guys going on 4 now. So we hope that there's greener pastures and clean water wherever you're going to do from here on out. So don't be a stranger. Maybe we can actually tap her for some volunteer work someplace. So we'd love to have you come back and work with us.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. I've loved working with the district. It's been an awesome ride. Loved all the people.
That's
The
awesome.
people in this county are the best.
Thanks for all you've done for the county too.
Appreciate all your work.
Amen.
We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Thanks, Vonnie.
Thanks,
Thank
Vonnie.
you. Thank you.
Marla, you're up.
Yeah, I totally forgot. Okay, so, I gotta pull it up here, sorry.
You better talk in your mic so people can hear you. Sorry. Stickler. Just stickler.
Okay, we have had a few people interested in doing ag protections. And Honeyville City has one right now that we need to reappoint our ag protection board. And Glenn Capner and Fred Selman and Spencer Holmgren are all willing to continue to serve on that ag protection board. And their terms are usually 3 to 4 years.
Okay. I'd entertain a motion for that Ag Protection Board.
So that was Glenn Capner, Fred Selman, and Spencer Holmgren.
Yes.
Okay, and did you say that there's a vacancy in Honeyville?
No, they're
No,
ag
they're
protection.
doing an ag
Oh,
protection.
it's
out
one in ag, okay, in Honeyville. All right,
And they
very good.
use the same board as what the county appoints.
And weren't you
Okay.
telling me that there's actually, like, you have to re-up it every
Every 20 years.
20 years? That's what I said, because some people don't realize that. So that's something that they might want to put out in the paper and stuff, that these ag protection places and industrial protection places are the same thing,
Yeah.
that they actually have to do it every 20 years.
It's not in perpetuity.
Yep.
And it's hard for people to probably remember that, because
Well.
like on the county side, people come and go,
I
so.
can't remember what 20 minutes ago was, let alone 20 years, so.
And technology changes, so you can't even give you a reminder.
Schedule an email to go out in 20 years.
Yeah.
so, Okay.
Okay,
I would make a motion that we reappoint Glenn Capner, Fred Selman, and Spencer Holmgren to the County Ag Protection Board.
Second.
I got a motion by Commissioner Scott, a second by Commissioner Hatfield, all in favor?
Aye.
Thomas, you're up. Or do you want me to just, well, never mind.
You can
You can
explain stuff
talk for a couple minutes and I can open it up at 5:50.
But you can keep talking about different stuff.
Do you want to do one of the subdivisions real quick? You got 3 minutes.
He can do more, you just have to interrupt.
I know.
He can keep.
Fitty, 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 fitty.
All right, I'll do the first one, Darrell Larkin subdivision.
Okay,
This is located at 9372 North, 11600 West. It's a one-lot subdivision. They're just splitting off 1 acre, and the remainder parcel, splitting it off from a 41-acre parcel. So it's been reviewed by county staff, been reviewed by the county surveyor, and the county attorney as well, fire, roads, all departments, and comes with a recommendation of approval.
okay. I entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Darrell Larkin subdivision.
I'll second that.
Got a motion by Commissioner Hatfield and a second by Commissioner Scott, all in favor?
Aye.
You want to go to another one? Or is you?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's Scott. Scott's a good one.
Well, you got a minute. I'll just interrupt you. Unless Steve wants to talk about the ordinance.
Things were running a little slow.
Whatever you want to
You
do.
want to talk about the ordinance? Yeah, let him talk about the ordinance and we can do that.
Then you can interrupt.
Yeah, I'll only interrupt Steve.
What have I got, 10 seconds?
Maybe 30.
Make it count, Steve.
All right, this is, as you recall, we had an older ordinance that set bond for all of the elected officials in the county. That was kind of outdated by state statute. We never fixed the ordinance, which allows us now to do insurance instead of bonds.
Yep.
So this ordinance has been put in place to do away with the old ordinance and allow us to use the insurance, so we're not violating our old ordinance, and we're in compliance with state law.
Okay. I'd entertain a motion.
I would make a motion that we approve ordinance number 488.
Mine says 207.
Mine says 207.
Is it,
Mine says
But
207.
488 sounds better.
Mine says
County
207.
ordinance.
well, 207 was what was adopted in August
Oh.
26th.
Okay.
So
Mine
if
doesn't
we
say
approve
488.
that again, we'll be
All right.
creating the same
Okay.
mess.
I'll second that.
I've got a motion by Commissioner Scott and a second by Commissioner Hatfield. All in favor?
Aye.
And it is 5:15, and I'm going to open up the public hearing on the 2019 budget. Tom, take it away. Do you want to just use Steve's?
Just sit down.
The green light's on, you should be good.
Use mine.
All right. So this is the fun thing that I went to school for, got my degree in accounting, to stand in front of people and talk numbers. So this is the hearing for the Box Elder County budget for 2019. So tonight we'll go through this. We'll walk through all the things that are going to happen in the budget, and then nothing will happen. The budget will not be adopted tonight. We'll still have 2 weeks to review. And then on the next commission meeting on the 19th is when we will formally adopt the budget for 2019. So if there are things that the commissioners want to change or things that input that you receive from the public hearing, those changes can definitely be made. Hopefully this works. I'll have to have Jeff. There we go. We just want to make sure that anyone who has an interest in this is heard, that we give the opportunity for people to address their government, to express their concerns and ideas of what the budget is. Because in reality, it's their government, it's their money. At the end of the day, the commissioners are the ones who hold the purse strings. As much as I put it together, I put the numbers in, the department heads put in a request. At the end of the day, it is the three commissioners who make that decision of what the budget will be. So as we go through really quick, I wanted to provide, just for knowledge, just really quickly of those property taxes we all just got done paying at Sean's office, the treasurer's office. They do a remarkable job of collecting the amount they collect in such a short time frame. This is where that money actually goes when you come and pay the county. So as you can see, the majority of it is still going to the school district that we collect. The county's next in line. So the part I just wanted to hit home, if you feel, if you have concerns with the school district or a municipality or the mosquito abatement, they hold their own budget hearings. They're responsible for those. The commissioners really don't have much say on that money. Those organizations do it themselves. But if you do have concerns about the county budget, the bookmobile budget, the RDA budget, this is where you want to address those concerns. So in 2019, this is what this budget contains. We anticipate to collect around $8.8 million in property taxes from the general fund, the operating rate. There also are assessing and collecting rates in there. And that $50,000, that is what is sent down to the state to assist in the areas and other counties where they don't have enough money to do their assessing and collecting mandated duties. The municipal service fund, that is just the unincorporated residents only. They're going to pay an additional property tax of $805,000. And that's to pay for those services they receive that are municipal in nature. Patrol, detective, fire, road, it helps pay for those costs. The county library fund also has a separate levy. It is $420,000, and that is for residents that reside in areas where there's not a municipal library. So like when I lived in Perry, I paid that rate. But now I live in Brigham, I do not pay that rate because Brigham has its own library. Some of the new positions that are going to happen this year in this budget that are budgeted for, there are 8 new positions with public safety. Now, whether or not they can actually staff them, that's another discussion. But we've looked at their needs, and the sheriff and his team has put together a really good plan to address some of the concerns we have of public safety. The biggest part of this is, and as the sheriff has looked at the jail and the needs there, he is coming up with a plan to create this jail diversion department. And this is just simply to try to buy more life out of our jail. We're needing more and more beds. So Sheriff Potter has proposed this department, and a lot of those new positions will come to staff it. There's also some different, as you can see, different requests as we get busier and busier. They're needing more help in booking, keeping track of the court actions, all that fun stuff. There's also 2 new positions at the fairgrounds, 2 new positions at the road department. In this budget, there is a cost of living adjustment of 3%. Health insurance, we saw an increase in the county's premiums of 8.99%. It's like trying to sell a car. Heaven forbid they just say 9. But and then also in this budget, there is a loan from the general fund going to the tourism fund. It is a $500,000. As you can see in there, this will become payable in 24 months from the time of the loan. We're anticipating that payment will be made sooner, but at the very latest, it will be 24 months. The purpose of this loan is to assist in the construction of the bleachers at the fairgrounds. It's just how the fairgrounds, it runs off of the TRT and the TRCC taxes, and so that's what we will use to pay back that loan. This just makes it so that we can start the construction in a timely manner to get those things up, hopefully before the fair. We're going to find out a lot more tomorrow when those bids are open. It may all just get blown to heck. So here is the elected officials' salaries for 2019. County policy states that when there is a COLA, so the COLA was 3%. County policy says that elected officials get the COLA plus 1%. That 1%, the idea of that policy, it was created years ago before my arrival. It was more or less to be the step increase for an elected official. Man, that is really small.
See you read that.
So this is the slide that's actually important.
Yeah.
This is what shows the total budget for Box Elder County. The total budget for 2019 for Box Elder County is going to be $36,143,254. So the next slides will walk it through step by step to show a little bit more of where that's coming from. The county has different funds that it does the accounting in. More or less, if you were in the private sector, these funds would be kind of, I guess you could call them divisions of a business. They kind of are different silos that have different funding sources, different requirements. So the general fund is where all activities accounted, where all activities not accounted by other funds, that's where they reside. So this is where the majority of the county's business takes place. The principal source of revenue for this fund is the property taxes, that $8.8 million that we talked about, the assessing and collecting. So you can go through, you can see the different changes in the different departments. One of the big ones is the clerk budget, a big decrease there. That comes from last year, Martha put in a request for some new election equipment, and that money is not needed for this year. So we're going to drop that off a little bit. The municipal service fund. So these, again, this is where those municipal type services reside. So you'll see we also dropped the corridor preservation by $500,000. That goes through the Council of Governments, they approve it, and then we, since we're the holder of the funds, Scott Lyons and his department, they manage that for us, they do a great job. We hold it, so that's where it comes out of. One of the bigger drops here you can see is the road department, and that's just from the $3 million for the road for promontory resources. That is not included in this year's budget because they took care of it. Landfill continues to operate cash positive. Gina and her crew continue to do a good job in managing that. Justice Court, their budget pretty much holds the same. Tourism Fund. So the Tourism Fund, our budget for next year is $2.9 million. In there, we have requested $1.5 million to do the bleachers remodel, upgrade. And so as those numbers come in tomorrow, I would anticipate there being a change between this number and the final budget based off what the commissioners want to do. So here's all the capital projects that are anticipated for the 2019 year. Of all of these, only 2 of them are going to be paid by the capital project fund. One is we have a storage area network upgrade that IT is requested, that is needed, and it's $154,000. And then the sheriff's office, this is where we pay for their vehicles, so the $299,000. All the other equipment projects up there have a dedicated funding source for them. For example, Corey, his 2 brush fire vehicles with a buildup, he has money in his MOU fund that he's got by going and fighting state fires and different things, that he's going to use that money to build those trucks up. A very appropriate use for that money. Gina pays for all of her stuff from her money, and Bill will be using some Class B MOU funds, some different things to pay for all of his equipment. The county library, this is obviously the bookmobile. As I talked about before, they have their own dedicated tax, and it hits those people who reside in those areas where there is not a municipal library. And Brad Rhodes is the director there. I don't forget what Brad's exact title is. And he's got some different things he's looking at maybe doing for this year. He's thinking about maybe buying some different type of Sprinter vans to provide service to different areas without driving the big diesel trucks everywhere. It's in the discussions. So when you break it out kind of by category of the budget, this is where the money is going. So as you can see, public safety continues to be the lion's share of the county's budget. And that makes sense. That's where the lion's share of our employees are. That's where the lion's share of what the county's exposure is in public safety. And they do a great job with the staff they have. Once again, I think Sheriff Potter, Dale and Ralph and Barb and their staff deserve a lot of credit for looking at things and trying to be creative and innovative with some of the solutions they face, with solutions to problems they face. General government, that's everything in this building pretty much, and some other pickups. But you can see where we're spending our budget. Our future plans, the county has no outstanding debt. We don't have any bonds. We have nothing. The plan is to use the certified tax rate for 2019. There will be no tax increase from the county. So that sums up the county's budget. And now here's the RDA piece. So the RDA, it functions off of the project areas that the commission has created. The county has 3 project areas. We have the Ag Park, Procter & Gamble, and the Plymouth project area. All of those run by tax increment that is generated within their own boundaries. So this is the tax increment that the county forwarded to the county, Box Elder County RDA. So for Procter & Gamble in 2017, instead of the county getting this money, we give it to the RDA. This is what we gave for the Ag Park and for the Plymouth project area. So then the RDA turns around and they use that money to participate in different participation agreements they have. Obviously, they also receive money from the school district, from Water Conservancy, from the different taxing entities that reside there. And they use that money, the RDAs, for different participation agreements they have with those businesses. So here's how much the Box Elder County increment gave to the Brigham City RDA for the different projects that reside there. The hotel project is a little different, whereas the county also has an agreement to remit back some of the transient room tax that is generated off the Hampton Inn. So you can see in 2017, that's how much the county participated in Brigham City. Tremont only has one RDA project that we participate in. It's their Tremont Center. So that's their Shopko hometown, that center right there. Perry has one as well, Perry Point. And that's all the RDAs we participate in. So that is the 2019 budget. It's fascinating stuff. Any questions from the commissioners to clarify before we turn it over to public comment?
No, thank you. I personally like the spreadsheets and comparing it to, the two different years, the 2018 and 2019, and then breaking it out by percentage so that we can see how much is attributed to each department. I think that's helpful.
That's what we're here for, helpfulness.
Well, and the growth is just going to keep happening too, so. And we're all involved in all the budget hearings that has to do with either mosquito abatement to water conservatory to the CIP. So we appreciate everybody's hard work in getting this thing done and keeping us out of debt and keeping the things that matter most to us, like public safety. These guys do a great job, and we appreciate everything that they do, and especially everybody in this building. You can see it's a very small piece of the pie, but they do great work. So we appreciate them too.
Yeah, I think the county's pretty lucky for the management that they have, for the department heads that take this pretty serious. We do budget very worst case scenario. We keep revenues usually pretty low and expenses pretty high. In the past couple of years, we've beat the budget by large margins. And a lot of that credit goes to the department heads, that even though they have the budget, they don't just go out and frivolously spend. They spend for what they need to do to get their jobs done and to do it effectively, I believe. I also believe, we could always take time to look at things, see if there are areas to improve in, different maybe solutions that we haven't thought of, maybe outside of the box to go and look at. But with that, if there's nothing else, I would say let's turn it over to the public.
Okay, if there's anybody who want to talk to specific budget things on 2019, they can come up and talk now and have 3-minute time per person and be respectful. State your name and where you're from.
Okay, Deanna Hardy Brigham. I've been following the budget for many years now, and it seems to me that it just keeps getting bigger and government keeps growing bigger. This is very concerning to me as a taxpayer. I look at a lot of the programs that you are doing, and it's not really the proper role of government. This fire suppression system that you have mandated the citizens to now do is wrong, and putting $45,000 a year away to help those people who are putting the systems in, this is wrong. This is not your money to take from all the taxpayers and give to those who have to put in these fire suppression systems now. So this is wrong. The other areas that I'm not in agreement with, the bookmobile. When the government controls the bookmobile, they control what you are reading. They can take out what history they want and put in the new history. This is troubling. The bookmobile should go back to a private free market system. Same way with all your other programs, the senior center, the 4-H clubs, even the fair. The fair is losing money every year, and you keep putting more money into it with the new rodeo bleachers that you're going to put in. All these things do not benefit every single citizen, so this is wrong. The only proper role of government that you should be doing is our sheriff, our jail, our courts, and a few administrative business dealings, record keeping that you have. So again, I would like you to look at everything that you are doing, even with the small business program that you have now implemented that still takes money from the taxpayer, and you pick and choose winners and losers, just like you're doing with the economic development programs. You let certain businesses have tax exemptions, and you encourage them to come, giving them this promise, and it also is not right. It's not the free market system. This country was founded on the individual's right, and the individual to be protected from government, from the usurpations of government, which you are all involved in, which I ask you to please again, like I do every year, to turn back and go back to the proper role of government and protect each citizen's right to protect them in their property and these higher taxes, even taxing the property is not right. So you should do what you should as American citizens and reverse this. Thank you.
Okay, is there anybody else that want to speak to the, as soon as we can shut off one of the. Okay, seeing none, I'll have a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second?
I got a motion by Commissioner Hadfield and a second by Commissioner Scott. All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, Tom.
You bet.
Very informative.
You do a good job of putting that together every year. Thank you.
Looks like we're to Scott again. Come on down.
I don't either.
You can start. They'll get to it.
Making sure I'm going in order. All right, so ordinance.
Don Miller.
Ordinance 489.
Yep.
This ordinance is to vacate the Don Miller subdivision. And along with that, a subdivision improvement agreement would be vacated. So this subdivision essentially came through a couple months back and was approved. Anyway, the trustees decided to undo what they did as far as splitting it up.
Okay.
So vacating that subdivision is the easiest way to do that. So with that being said, the ordinance has been reviewed. I guess the vacate itself has been through the Planning Commission and comes with a recommendation of approval. The ordinance has been reviewed by the county attorney. There are some changes that he wanted to see made to it from a technical standpoint. Do you want to mention those, or did you want me to mention those, or?
Doesn't matter. There's changes as far as the ownership and a couple of other just stylistic things.
Yeah, so basically the date, originally this was going to come before the county commission on November 20th. So the date in the ordinance would need to be changed, as well as the ownership. It lists out the trustees and would change those to the actual listing the trust. But with those changes, it comes with a recommendation of approval.
Okay. I entertain a motion. Sorry, we're still working on the PowerPoint.
I think we're back shortly.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Don Miller subdivision.
The vacation.
The vacation for 89,
Subject to those
subject to the
changes.
date changes, those changes that were mentioned.
I'll second that.
I got a motion by Commissioner Hatfield and a second by Commissioner Scott. All in favor?
And ordinance 489, what it does is create an agricultural subdivision, and this would split off an existing home within that same parcel. Again, this is kind of part of putting it all back together, how it was previously. And this as well has been reviewed by the Planning Commission and comes with a recommendation of approval, and has also been reviewed by the county attorney. And again, the one change in this ordinance is the date change, that it comes before the commission it would be changed from the November 20th meeting to today's meeting.
Okay, I entertain a motion.
I'd make a motion that we approve ordinance number 490, the Miller Agricultural Subdivision with the applicable change in date.
Second?
Got a motion by Commissioner Scott and a second by Commissioner Hatfield. All in favor?
Aye.
Switch hats.
Yes, so the next request, this is a request for reimbursement from the Corridor Preservation Fund. This is coming from Tremont City. They had a project, the project ID is CPF 18-01. This is the 950 East Main Street intersection. So their original request that was approved was for $72,000. They were able to finish that project up under the budget. They came in at $66,324.83. So they are requesting that that
Be paid?
be paid. They are missing 3 pieces of paperwork. They have them complete. Basically, one of the landowners needs to sign the paperwork at the title company. So I guess it's up to you if you want to approve it subject to
Yeah,
that paperwork coming in, or if you
Approve
want
it
to
pending.
push it to the next meeting.
I think we can just approve it pending. Unless you
Okay.
got a problem with it.
Is it anything that would be a big enough concern?
I'm not sure what the issue is exactly, as far as just signing paperwork.
Just a signature.
I'm fine with it either way, because it's just a matter of him emailing that paperwork over to me. He thinks he can have it signed by the end of the week.
Doesn't appear to be a problem to me.
Okay.
I'll make a motion, we approve the request for the corridor preservation fund to Tremont City for the amount of $66,324.83 pending the signature.
I'll second that.
We got a motion by Commissioner Hatfield and a second by Commissioner Scott. All in favor?
Aye.
The next item is the Ben and Flora Tanaka subdivision. This is located just south of Tremont. It's basically on the corner of 7600 West and 10400 North.
Rocket Road.
Yeah. So it's a 2-lot subdivision with a remainder parcel. It's actually cleaning up some parcels that were illegally subdivided some years ago, so that they can move forward with the sale of a larger piece of land. It's been through review by all county staff and comes with a recommendation of approval.
Entertain a motion?
I would make a motion that we approve the Ben and Flora Tanaka subdivision.
Second?
Got a motion by Commissioner Scott and a second by Commissioner Hatfield. All in favor?
Aye.
And the last item is the Ryan Bevan subdivision. This one's located on Highway 13, also known as 5200 West, at, let's see the exact north it's located at. Not sure. Usually it's listed right on here. Anyway, here it is, 12,322 north. So this is north of the Tremont, I guess it would be northeast of the Tremont area. And it's a 1-lot subdivision consisting of 1.11 acres, being split off from a larger farm parcel. And this one also has been through all staff review, and comes with a recommendation of approval.
Okay, I'd make a motion, we approve the Ryan Bevan subdivision.
I'll second that.
We got a motion by Commissioner Hatfield and a second by Commissioner Scott. All in favor? Do
Aye.
you want to sign those, or?
I would
Okay.
appreciate it, but I can wait if you want to do your other stuff.
Sure. Let me come up right now.
Whatever works for you.
You have to always tell me where. You switch up on me all the time. This chair's really warm. Do we need to do the other ones?
Yeah,
You want to do that first?
before Stan runs away.
Oh, I'm not running. He just always has to make sure I'm signing in the right spot. I have a hard time with that.
You want to stamp them first, or do you want me to sign first? It's the 5th.
Too long today. Up too long.
two?
It's long.
Just sign it.
You're probably gonna get about 0.5%. Maybe 20,000. Because 1% of 190 would be 40,000. So half.
Making it awkward.
Yeah, it's about 2 there. You might get 2 1/4,
I'm
2
feeling
1/2 someplace. As the interest rates continue to expand.
Did you?
It'd be worth checking it. If it's not in there at all, then there's no return on it. And if there's no return on it and you're getting 2%, then it'd be 80 grand a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to look into that? See
Yep.
where that's going? I just, for some reason, and you might be lumping it all in, but I'd sure like to know, you know, what funds are what. Thanks, Scott. Tiff, you can meander up here if you'd like.
I'm Tiffany with the Fire Marshal's Office. Today I bring in front of you a sprinkler system grant reimbursement for the Lopez residence that was put in Fielding. They've requested a $4,000 reimbursement.
Cool. Okay, I'd entertain a motion.
So it's already been put in. You guys verified it and
It is
everything?
verified, everything is
Okay.
done.
Very good.
And it comes through the state reimbursement, that's what
Yes,
we.
it does. We
yeah,
have to.
To the prevention.
Yeah, it comes out of our prevention fund that
Yep.
we have to spend the money towards.
Yep, okay, awesome.
I'd make a motion that we approve the fire suppression grant for the Lopez residence.
Second?
Got a motion by Commissioner Scott and a second by Commissioner Hatfield. All in favor?
Okay, and then next I have a bill that was, it was originally to Francis Trucking. One of their trucks hit a power line / cable line out in the Riverside area. We got bills in from the fire departments. We paid the fire departments in turn. We bill insurance companies. They denied the claim. So I just need to have that
Insurance write-off.
insurance write-off. There's that.
I'd entertain a motion.
On that, did they give a reason why they denied it?
Because they had a pilot car and they, the line was down further, so they weren't actually found at fault.
Yeah, Corey said the line was too low,
Yeah.
Okay,
so, okay.
Like the background on those.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
I make a motion that we approve the write-off for the insurance denied.
I'll second that.
got a motion by Commissioner Hatfield and a second by Commissioner Scott. All in favor?
That's all I have.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks, Tiff.
Thanks for all your work. Mitch, you up next, Mitchell? And Paul?
All right, so it's Mitch Zundel and Paul Larson with Brigham City. Mitch, of course, I'm with the county. But anyway, Brigham City is going after a Sustainable Design Assessment Team, or SDAT, proposal for the north end of town. This is a letter of support for the commission to sign for their application. And I don't know if Paul wants to add more.
Yeah, I'll just, excuse me. So one of Mayor Vincent's priorities for this term is to try to initiate improvements to North Main Street. AIA, or American Institute of Architects, has a program called the SDAT, like Mitch mentioned. They assemble a team that involves architects, engineers, real estate professionals, finance professionals, so on, to work with the community to develop a vision for a specific area like that. Tremont did the same program for their Main Street, and they're now in the process of continuing to work towards implementing that. So we're applying for, we hope to apply for that, hope to be successful in being chosen for one of those, and use that as part of the basis to pursue improvements to North Main Street.
Great idea. I actually went on their website and
Yeah.
looked around and stuff. It was pretty cool with all the places that they've done. So that's awesome. I'd entertain a motion for the letter of support.
Yeah, I would make a motion that we sign a letter of support for Brigham City's SDAT proposal.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Scott, second by Commissioner Hatfield. All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yep.
You have a copy, right?
Yeah. You're up, Bill.
Bill Gilson, Box Elder County Road Department. To give you, I got Brent Slater with me here today from Jones and Associates. He is the county engineer service on record. And a little background, quite a while back ago, we had a petition, I think 30-plus residents from the Riverside community came in and asked the county to take a look at doing some kind of restriction with engine brakes in that area of SR 30 and 13, in that intersection area coming into the stop signs. So at that time, the commission wanted to go forward with the study, and we asked Brent with Jones and Associates to come on in and take a look at this topic and kind of go over the ins and outs and then give a possible recommendation. I gave Brent a little bit of direction as far as setting him up with some people to talk to, some people from the trucking industry, Todd Thornley, Mark Richards, and also he spoke with the UDOT maintenance supervisor in Riverside, Todd Gibbs, and then also a couple of the residents, and did a little background on it. But pretty much Brent and Sam with Jones kind of took the lead on this and went over things, and I'll turn the time over to Brent.
On that thing that I just passed out to you, has this little map in there that kind of shows what we'd recommend. I've in talking with these people, UDOT, who owns, I guess, this right away, Todd Gibbs, I talked to him and they said they didn't really support any kind of restriction on engine brakes, that we'd do away with them altogether. But he said he would go along with if we could get all of them that are not in compliance to have a muffled, if they had the muffled engine brakes, they're much quieter, and probably in this particular situation, we probably wouldn't want to do without the engine brakes altogether coming off of the freeway and going into town. It's got quite an incline, and the engine brakes just help save the brakes, as you all know, and help them to stop, especially on the heavy loads. And so I've also looked up some cases on the internet and found what some other places in the country are doing, and some of them that I noticed, they like to make sure they have mufflers. The new trucks coming out of the factory, they're decibel 50 feet away from the vehicle is around 80 decibels. And I guess to kind of give you an idea what that is, 80 decibels on this sheet, I think I included that in there in the middle column below this little graph here, it says that a dishwasher running in your house is 50 decibels, and a truck with a muffler is around 80 to 83 decibels. Truck without a muffler is around 100 decibels. A jet aircraft 50 feet away is 150 decibels. I don't know, it kind of puts it in a little bit of a perspective there. One of the things that I was finding is it was hard to enforce, you know, like for a sheriff, I guess, to go out and to enforce that. But I guess if there is any blatant, you know, disregard for, you know, this noise ordinance, you know, they could probably pull them over and even check and see if they have a muffler on. And, or, I don't know if we have equipment that would record decibels that a sheriff could have. You know, they could also do that. But I was, one of the things I thought that would probably help in talking with Bill, that right up there by the freeway, as you come off the northbound off-ramp, and just as you start down SR30, about 300 feet away from that off-ramp, there's a speed limit sign that says 55 miles per hour. We were thinking if we could get that changed to 40 miles per hour, maybe those trucks would not be just pouring the coal to it until they got right close to the intersection and then slam on their jake brakes, their engine brakes, and make a lot of racket slowing down for that intersection. That's something that, you know, a sheriff could check, I guess, on with a speed gun, you know, radar, be able to tell if he's breaking that speed limit or not. So if you change that to 40, that might help. And then maybe 100 feet or a certain distance away from that, you'd have a sign that would say that an unmuffled engine brake is prohibited, and you know, kind of from dawn to dusk, and then show what the fine would be. I just put on here a $500 fine because that's what I've seen on some of the other communities on the internet. And you know, if that's at that up there by the freeway, have those two signs, and then coming from the east, coming up out of the where the Mlad River is, as you get up to the top up there, have a sign that says reduce speed ahead, and right after that have that same unmuffled engine brake use prohibited sign. And so he could see that and say, oh, I'm not supposed to be using that engine brake right through here, and then he'd notice the 40 mile an hour speed limit sign, and so he wouldn't even, hopefully not even get up to a higher speed by the time he got to that intersection. We do have a petition that was sent around and signed by about 30 residents that all were on that petition, that I guess they were pretty concerned about that noise in there. And in talking with some of these, the residents and a trucker that's actually living there in Riverside, they all seem to think that it's the cattle truck drivers that are coming in out of Canada, I guess, or Idaho or somewhere, that are the ones that seem to be the offenders here. So I don't know. That's kind of what I was able to come up with.
Well, we appreciate your being able to do that. It's kind of been, ever since I've been a commissioner, we've been looking at it and talking about it. I mean, the biggest thing we did is when we went up there and put the red flashing lights and then the stop lights. So we haven't, to my knowledge, had a major accident since we were able to put that stuff in. So, but I think some of these, if we send it up to UDOT and show them our recommendations, and I think that they'd be, you know, applicable to do the 40 mile an hour signs and some of those other things. And I mean, I don't think rumble strips and stuff like that are necessary, and hopefully we can, you know, change their minds.
And that Todd Gibbs did say that they would put up the signs if the commission okayed it. You know, they would put up the signs.
Yeah. And like Bruce said, the restriction would be only from dusk to dawn. It'd most people in the community, coming from a farming background anyways, don't bother them that much with a
Right.
loud Jake break if a guy with straight pipes during the daytime, but when they come in at 2 in the morning and they
Yeah.
lay it on really hard, then it's really detrimental to the small community.
If you guys got any questions?
I don't.
I grew up in that area,
me.
and the traffic's changed, quite a bit. That exit wasn't there when I was growing up, and or at least that busy, and it's a concern, especially with the number of residents right there around that intersection. So I think that's a good step.
I'd maybe entertain a motion just to forward this on to UDOT
What I'd like to do is
and talk to
give a
them.
motion to direct staff
Yeah.
to possibly get with Region 1 Traffic Engineering
Yep.
and kind of go through the findings of Jones and Associates, so they have, if we need to tweak the distance on our signage or anything like that we have the traffic engineer input.
I think that'd be great.
Draft the ordinance itself.
Yep, let's do that.
That'd be great.
So moved. Oh, I can't do that. You guys want-
So moved.
I would second that motion to send it on to staff to work with UDOT Region 1.
I've got a motion by, what was your name again? Commissioner Hadfield, and second by Commissioner Scott. All in favor?
Aye.
Sorry, got to keep things light.
That was a mouthful. I didn't
Thank
want to
you.
repeat all of what Bill said.
Appreciate you coming and doing that
Thanks,
for
Bill.
us.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, Bill, you got one more.
It's that time of the year, every year. I can't remember the first year we actually started. It was after we spent an initial $500,000 improving the Willard Peak Road that was came down through the federal government, the U.S. Forest Service. So we're at a time right now where we've had a good quantity of snowfall on our mountain range. So I'd like to request to start the seasonal closure on the Willard Peak Road and closing of the gate tomorrow. And this would still allow a side pass to take ATV traffic and snowmobile traffic to go up and access the roadway.
I'd entertain a motion.
Yeah, I'd make a motion that we approve the seasonal road closure for the Willard Peak Road
Second.
to take place tomorrow.
Oh, second.
Motion by Commissioner Scott, second by Commissioner Hadfield. All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks.
Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, leasing of the county land. Does anybody want to do this, or you want me to? We're talking about the 40 acres down in Bear River City. It said, Tom kind of mentioned it before. We went through and they'd opened up bids, and Lyle Clark got the bid to be able to go in and do that. So I just entertain a motion that we are leasing that 40 acres in Bear River City to Lyle Clark.
I make a motion that we lease that property at Bear River City to Lyle Clark.
I'll second that.
I got a motion by Commissioner Hadfield and a second by Commissioner Scott. All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, and I don't know, did you send us through? There's SRS. UAC is actually putting forth a letter for us urging the support for U.S. Forest Service SRS school fundings. We don't get anything like that here, but it is tied to PILT. So if SRS fundings go away, our PILT payments will actually go down. So we're going to sign a paper in support of the other counties in the state to hopefully continue their SRS funding.
Work together. I would make a motion that we sign the letter from the Utah Association of Counties for support for the Secure Rural Schools program.
That's a mouthful.
Second.
Amen.
You don't lisp. Got a motion by Commissioner Scott and a second by Commissioner Hadfield. All in favor?
Aye.
Cody Elam, building official, Box Elder County.
What? I didn't hear that.
You didn't hear it? Cody Elam. Is that better? So this is for the Bear River Canal lease pool, 66 shares, just to go back to allow the farmers to lease it back again. Puts the water back in the ditch, so they have that continual flow.
Okay. I just reiterate what Commissioner Scott was talking about, just saying that, Tremont City's looking at these shares and wanting to secure them for possibly their secondary water. So in the future, we might be able to take a look and see what those shares are worth and see if we can't help them out in that avenue.
I guess at this point, I would make a motion that we table this item until our next meeting, pending some, discussion on the time frame of that with Tremont.
And I have talked to them. They can still, they're not going to utilize that now, but you can still negotiate and sell that and still have it so they can not use it this year. But that's up to you, Jeff, how you.
So it doesn't put any restriction on the other sale?
No, it would not. So this just, you could sell it and say it's not going to come in effect until the next farming season. So this year the farmers can still utilize it, but then they know next year that this will be sold, or a portion of it can be. So it's not going to, and that's what they said last year when they were here. They said we were trying to negotiate, and anything that we can get, we're happy with. So they just know that next year it won't be in this lease pool, and it's, so.
I'm good with just going with the lease and then worry about doing it the first of the year. If they really want them. Because as of right now, I'm not sure they got the money to buy them.
Yeah, and we'd really have to see what these are going for, because there's quite a demand, and
Well, I
they
told
just
them
don't
they have
make
to
any more
actually go out
shares.
to bid.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's a process to that, so.
So is there a need to pass it, or would we be better off to wait, to table?
Well, I think that they would want to know that it's in there by
First of the year.
Yeah. Our
probably February or March.
Because they start
At
sending, they start
Yeah.
sending out.
At the early.
Yeah,
or
they
latest.
want it done by, I think, January 2nd is the letter.
January 2nd?
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to table it till next one, it's up to you.
Yeah,
to
it's-
get more information.
Yeah, I mean, I would still keep that motion, just, for 2 more
absolutely.
weeks.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Scott
January
to table. Second by Commissioner Hatfield. All in favor?
Aye. That is good info, though, Cody. Thanks for doing
Yeah,
the
no-
research on this.
No problem.
Thank you.
So we don't need to worry about the RDA either then?
Nope.
Okay, we won't even, okay. Just hold off till next time.
Thanks, Cody.
Yeah, thanks.
Let me know what happens tomorrow, will you?
I will. I'll let, as soon as we.
I don't think I'll be here. I'll try 1 o'clock. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'd entertain a motion to go into a closed session to talk
So-
about,
You probably want to go into the RDA
Oh.
and make a
Did.
motion to table it on
Okay.
that.
Well, we still need to approve the minutes too. They're on.
I'm going to make a motion that we go, let's just go into RDA. I'm going to open up the RDA. Is that okay?
Yeah, you can just open up the RDA.
I'm just going to open up the RDA. Is that okay?
Did you take your pain pill or something?
I should have took my pain pill or something.
So give me just a second. You throw me off balance.
Oh, yeah, like that's a big. Push you over with a feather. Oh. I gotta quit eating those nuts, too.
Okay.
Okay. We're in the RDA, approval of minutes. Right?
Yep. I would make a motion that we approve the minutes from October 17th, 2018, and November 7th, 2018.
I'll second that.
Got a motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Scott. All in favor?
Aye. I'd make a motion that we table the Bear River Canal lease pool shares from the RDA.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Scott, second by Commissioner Hatfield. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adjourn the RDA.
Make a motion we adjourn the RDA.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hatfield. I'm going to screw this up one of these times. By Commissioner Scott. All in favor?
Aye.
And now we're going to go back into our regularly scheduled business meeting. Do we have any?
Of course.
Why don't we sign those? And I just asked.
It's all your fault, Stan.
What's that?
It's all your fault.
It's all my fault.
You would have missed the last meeting.
I know. I think I was busy on a table,
I think you were,
slurring my words.
and it wasn't dancing either.
No. No, 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 no. Yeah, I was going to say, what is there, 6? Wasatch is done. If he pushes it. Did you know that?
I think so, it would be too. So,
Dang pages, they keep sticking together.
That's what she said.
Watch it or I'll give you a Sherman T. Potter.
Our meeting minutes.
Good thing you gave me this pen. It's really flowing well.
It's not?
It is.
Oh,
I'm,
thanks.
I'm
I
up.
have kind of a bad one in my desk. I'm like, maybe I gave that one to you.
No, this is a good one.
I don't know who I stole this one from, but it's pretty good.
It's doing the SS really good, huh?
Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, I don't even have my pen.
Might have to have a stop. How many was there? Did anybody ever tell her that the budget actually went down?
You can download it from the website, off of our county website. And you can look under the clerk drive under family, there's probably one on there too.
I can do that. I just didn't have one stuck in it. I don't know if there was any.
And who in the right mind's gonna spend $5,000 on a trade in a year? I said- The only thing that's ever been worse, in my opinion, is a SBA loan I did.
Your mortgage?
Oh, it was horrible. It was a stack of papers about
You know how they approve those, don't you?
flip a coin.
No, they keep giving you more paperwork as
Oh.
you file ways enough, and then they approve it.
Holy moly.
Okay.
I have to tell my wife I gotta do some more necking or something, because my neck's a little sore. Nicky, nicky, nicky. What was it that you got called?
Oh, I don't know.
Remember that? I'll have to have Marmas, see what it was. Okay. Everything signed, sealed, delivered? I think so. That was a song, wasn't it? Now I'd entertain a motion.
I'd make a motion that we move into a closed session to discuss personnel and pending real estate.
Second.
I got a motion by Commissioner Scott and a second by Commissioner Hatfield. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No legal tonight, Steve?